This lady from Florida.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to yield such time as he may consume to the author of this resolution, my good friend from Tennessee, Mr. Wamp.
Gentleman from Tennessee is recognized.
Well, I thank the Speaker. Over the last 14 years that I've had the privilege to serve here in the House, many times I've come to the floor from the head. Today, I totally come to the floor from the heart. And that was the initial motive that I had, was from the heart. And we can't really speak for each other because we are speaking from our faith perspectives, but I do think that our motives are all for peace. And that is the common denominator that brings us together today. It is historic in the sense that three principal sponsors here are a Muslim, a Jew, and a Christian. I happen to be an evangelical, but we're here in a country that is pluralistic. That separates us from the entire world in that we honor and respect everyone's religious views. We may have a foundation that's Judeo-Christian, but it's so important that we cling to this pluralistic approach. We are not theocratic, and we do not want the world to be divided over our religious beliefs. And so the common denominator today is that we stand together against radicalism and violence and terrorism. I've seen polling data in the Islamic world that shows that 92% of Islam denounces and does not believe that terrorism is an acceptable means to an end. That's the good news. The bad news is that 8% is a very large number of people. But we want to encourage the moderates, the peace lovers, in all of the Abrahamic faiths to stand together against radicalism and extremism and promote tolerance and a pluralistic view as we have in this country that is part of our foundation that says everyone has the right to worship as they please and to believe as they please, even not to believe if they please. That is part of our fabric. And the divisions over religion in the world create this danger of some kind of an event where over religious intolerance and indifference or difference in the world, we could have a Crusades-like event. Now, Jesus to me is love. That's my belief. So I come to the floor today to say I in no way want to water down anyone's faith or beliefs. But I do believe that Jesus taught us, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall inherit the kingdom of heaven. And I want that to be me. And I'm speaking for that belief. And I believe there's a time for war. I believe when we're attacked, we have to defend ourselves and our freedom and our way of life. But there's also a time for peace. And I hope and pray that is now. And I think you have to risk peace from time to time. And that's what I'm doing on the floor today. I think we must as a nation risk peace. And I want to commend Tony Hall, who was part of the formation of the Council of Religious Institutions of the Holy Land, also known as the Jerusalem Council, where Mr. Berman, Mr. Ellison, and I got together with the religious leaders from the Holy Land of all three Abrahamic faiths to promote peace. Many times the State Departments and the governments of these countries get together and talk peace, but then the religious leaders are not there engaged, buying into what the policies are that will maintain peace. We want the religious leaders to also come together and stand against radicalism and violence and division in the world. I think the scope of these divisions are so great that this is the greatest pursuit we can engage in to lasting peace, is to stand together against radicalism and to respect each other's religious views. That's what I call risking peace. That's the common denominator. So I don't want to say that I know Mr. Ellison's motives or Mr. Berman's motives, but I know mine. And I ask the House to come together and stand together, even if it's for this brief moment, respecting our traditions of pluralism and the freedom of religion, but standing together united against radicalism and violence and terrorism, and encouraging all in the Islamic world and all in every faith to stand together against violence and destruction and death, so that we have the hope of a world that could exist together in peace, because blessed are those peacemakers. I yield back.